There's an awesome shrimp recipe from the Floridian that is really a celebration of everything St. Pete aesthetically. All of the senses are really represented.
I'm Robin Sussingham, and this is The Zest. Citrus, seafood, Spanish flavor, and Southern charm. We're all about food in Florida. A St. Petersburg city official wants residents to eat healthier, so she's giving them the recipes to do just that. Along the way, she's trying to help her town's restaurants and small businesses that are struggling because of the COVID-19 pandemic. I wanted to make sure that you know about stpetersburgfoodies.com. If you're looking for fun and good food in St. Pete, there are restaurant reviews and podcasts featuring local chefs, restaurateurs, happy hour suggestions, and a lot more. It's all online at stpetersburgfoodies.com. Support for the Zest podcast comes from Seitenbacher brand natural foods like muesli cereals, oils, oatmeal, energy bars, gluten-free fruit gummies for the kids, organic coffee, and more. Available in supermarkets, health food stores, or online at Seitenbacher.com. Kanika Tomalin has a lot on her plate. She's the St. Petersburg Deputy Mayor and City Administrator, serving the city's 270,000 residents. On top of that, Tomalin recently published a cookbook. St. Pete Eats is a collection of healthy recipes from some of the city's best-known chefs, including a few from Tomalin's own kitchen and one that pays tribute to her late husband, Terry Tomalin, who for years wrote a popular outdoors column for the Tampa Bay Times. The Zest's Dalia Colon talked to Tomalin about what inspired her to write the cookbook, some of her favorite recipes, and St. Petersburg restaurants that should be on everyone's radar.
I can't imagine writing a cookbook was in your job description. So why take this on? Why take this on top of everything else?
Well, because I do think it's very important to find as many ways as possible to connect with the people that we're so honored and privileged to serve. And before I worked in City Hall, I was a healthcare executive with Bayfront here in St. Pete. And healthcare is critically important to me. It's a personal passion. And I wanted to make sure that I continued the impact of the work that I'd been doing for some time. And so we created a program called Healthy St. Pete. And it's a community engagement and empowerment program that's designed to help our city create a culture of health and live, shop, eat, and play healthier. And the bottom line of it all is that we're trying to make the healthy choice the easy choice. And so in our eat area of impact, I've connected with lots of great chefs from around our city and great restaurants who help us tell the story of how to eat healthy. And thought, wouldn't it be great to bring all of this talent together in a way that any of us could access and put these recipes down so that we have them right in our fingertips. And that's what we did.
It is great. So let's talk about the cookbook. What's it called and what does it contain?
Okay, it's called St. Pete Eats, a cookbook, and it is a compilation of recipes from chefs throughout our city and our community. Most of them are chefs with whom we've partnered already in our Healthy St. Pete program. They'd either been featured on our Healthy St. Pete Test Kitchen cooking show or have helped us in some other programmatic aspect. And some of them have added healthy items to their menus and their restaurants, or they've done cooking demonstrations. So many ways they've connected with our community. So we asked them all, we put out the call to these chefs. As you know, St. Pete is a foodie scene. It's a foodie destination. And we sent the challenge to create a recipe that any of us could create that has health as a focus or top of mind that would help us create a 4-part cookbook. So we have appetizers, soups, salads, and sandwiches, entrees, and cocktails. And I even have a few recipes thrown in here for good measure.
Ooh, so these are original recipes.
These are original recipes. Some of them are favorites from their menus that may have been slightly altered to make them a little more health focused, or they already were on the menu with the health focus. And some of them were created specifically for this book. We let the chefs have free reign and really encourage them to just create as however they felt inspired.
What are a few standouts? What are some recipes that embody St. Pete?
So I love all of them. They really are so creative, and it's amazing because the end product is world-class quality of a restaurant chef, but made right in your own kitchen. But a couple that I really love, the Adventurer grouper sandwich is in here, and that was actually named after my husband, who was an awesome adventurer who was the outdoors editor for the Tampa Bay Times for many years, Terry Tomlin.
I knew your husband.
The tavern over at USF St. Pete, they actually they cook dayboat fresh grouper every day. And they have a great sandwich that they're known for throughout the state. So they included that recipe for us, which was a huge get.
I worked at the Times and I knew your husband, and it just makes me smile hearing that. How about another recipe?
There's an awesome shrimp recipe from the Floridian that is really a celebration of everything St. Pete. Aesthetically, all of the senses are really represented. It smells so good when you cook it. It looks so pretty, and it tastes amazing. I think it's like a sunshine dish, I call it. And it's called Tropical Tales, and it's citrus poached Gulf shrimp with cilantro pesto with toasted tropical quinoa salad. And it's amazing.
That sounds like something you'd serve to company if anyone was having company anymore.
That's right. Or you could make it for two and it would be just as good, but it's so delicious. And the library has an awesome vegetarian chili that they also feature on their menu. Chef Rachel, so wonderful there. Rachel Bennett, she does such great work. She's a James Beard semifinalist. And it's awesome that we get the secrets of, James Beard quality chefs in the book. This vegetarian chili is garnished with chopped cilantro and has so many great aromas and flavors in it. And it's delicious.
And then you mentioned that you have some recipes. What would you say is the best dish that you contributed? Or maybe what would your kids say? That's always the question.
So it's interesting because I'm so busy and I've just now gotten both the time and the courage to really cook with like my sleeves rolled up and get right into the middle of it. But for the book, I have a chicken salad that I really love to make. I use Greek yogurt instead of mayo, and I serve it on endive. And it's inspired by one of my dear friends, Erin Abel, who would often serve a dish like this whenever she would entertain. And I was like, oh, that's so fun and so light and really refreshing. And so it's an appetizer that's featured. And I've had a lot of people come up to me actually and say they bought the book and they made it and that they love it. It's one of their new favorites. So I'd go with the chicken salad.
Nice. When did the book come out and why did you choose the timing that you chose?
So the book came out right around July. It's funny, the days and weeks and months kind of roll together now, but we've been working on it for about a year, very meaningfully. And we were at a crossroads and we didn't know if the impacts of the coronavirus were such that we should hold off on the book's release, or if it would be a great catalyst to show our concern and support for our restaurant industry and all of the special people who make it so awesome. And we decided the latter, that it could definitely be a way to celebrate our food scene and show support. So we decided to go ahead and release it. And all of the proceeds from the books actually go to support the restaurants that are featured. Also to support the Fighting Chance Fund, which is a fund that we've established to help local small businesses and employees who've been adversely impacted from coronavirus.
I think it's a great time for a cookbook featuring restaurant quality recipes because everyone's cooking at home so much more. So I think your timing is perfect.
Yes, we knew that people were, and right when we were making the decision, you'll recall that time when everything was closed. Restaurants just were not operating and people felt so disconnected from each other in the community. And we had the same thought that you have, what a great connector this could be. And to give people the flavors that they've come to know and love, but in a safe way that they can experience them in their homes.
Why, besides economically, why do restaurants matter to a community?
Oh my gosh. Well, for so many reasons, a community is just a big quilt, I believe, with many threads and multidimensional fabric that weaves it all together. And restaurants sit right at the center of that because it's a source of great social capital and tradition and convening. It's a place that people go to celebrate or mourn or be together. And so our restaurants become extensions of our families and symbols and illustrations of our most critical and amazing moments in life. And so we need our restaurants as a part of our culture. They're a staple in our culture, and they help, certainly in St. Pete, it's the case, help define who we are. It's also one of the most apparent ways that people are able to find and infuse diversity in their lives in meaningful ways. And we are so proud that in St. Pete, we have restaurants from across the world stage, all very authentic to the various places that they represent. And we celebrate and value diversity. And so that plays a very important role here in St. Pete.
It is so special. I lived in St. Pete when I first moved to Florida from Ohio. Now I live in a suburb that shall remain nameless, but one of the things I miss most is just how authentic everything feels in St. Pete, and walking around downtown, showing it off to visitors. That's really a gem, as I'm sure you know.
Yeah, love St. Pete. It's so interesting because it's a juxtaposition in that we have like small town, southern coastal charm, but all the sophistication of any major metropolis with our arts scene and our restaurants and our fantastic museums and so many different layers of culture. It's really a very cool place.
What are some under the radar restaurants in St. Pete that you think everyone should check out? Maybe the ones that don't always end up on the best of the Bay lists.
Oh, what a good question and a good challenge. I would encourage everyone to step outside of downtown and work your way west and discover some food in the further reaches of our community. Alacia is an amazing restaurant in the west side of St. Pete that serves a Vietnamese-inspired fusion menu that is among the best I've ever had. There are a very cool Mexican restaurant called Chile Verde just expanded into a new location in South St. Pete, and you will feel transported to Mexico when you have their dishes. So good, home cooked flavor, great service, a really special experience. Left Bank Bistro is another awesome restaurant that really transports you to another place that may be a little bit off the beaten path, but worth every bit of the work it takes to get there. So those are a few of my favorites that just immediately come to mind. Joel's Deli is a great restaurant. Mazzaro's, I think that people know of it, but again, if people are visiting St. Pete, even from across the bridge, and they may always find themselves downtown and focus mainly there, but there's so many wonderful discoveries in every corner of our community.
I feel like I'm always craving Mazzaro's on a Sunday, and then I remember that they're closed on Sundays.
I know, it's like, oh, drats, right?
Oh, we were going to take some of our Hillsborough County friends there, and it was on a Sunday. We just have to plan better. They're on that Chick-fil-A schedule, I guess. And then finally, just as a food podcast, we're always looking for what we're not seeing. And you've got your boots on the ground every day in St. Pete. So what food stories do you feel like aren't being told?
What food stories aren't being told? Well, in St. Pete, we work hard to kind of make sure we're shaking every branch of the tree, even the ones way up high and hard to reach. I think the innovations and adaptations that are coming around COVID, we're seeing a lot of food trucks, for instance, team up with breweries so that they meet the criteria to be able to continue to serve. And so you can find some of your favorite food trucks teamed up, for instance, with like Three Daughters Brewery and great live music. And it's just taking our whole entertainment scene and dining scene to a new level. I'm excited by that. And I look forward to seeing some of these new food trucks that we're seeing permitted and that are on the horizon.
That does sound fun. Well, thank you so much for your time. Is there anything else we didn't discuss about the cookbook or the St. Pete food scene that you want everyone to know?
No, I just encourage everyone to eat well and eat often, and we can always accommodate that over here in St. Pete. And we've had such a great response about the book. I think that there's so much room for it to grow, so stay tuned.
This time next year, we might be talking about a part 2.
Volume 2.
Volume 2, that would be great. Well, Dr. Tomalin, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
That was Kanika Tomalin, Deputy Mayor and City Administrator of St. Petersburg, speaking with Dalia Colon. For a list of retail locations where you can purchase the St. Pete Eats Cookbook, visit thezestpodcast.com for a link. I'm Robin Sussingham. Dalia Colon and I produced The Zest with help from Cheyenne Jaglal and Mark Hayes.
Copyright 2020, WUSF Public Media, University of South Florida.